Rasslin Rage. Cody Fleming is the man who leads the brigade. Let's go it down. This is Rasslin Rage. We'll do it now. This is Rasslin Rage. Scream it out loud. This is Rasslin Rage. Cody Fleming is the man who leads the brigade.
And now it's time for Rasslin Rage with your host, Cody Fleming.
Hey everybody, what is going on? It is Cody here from Rasslin Rage and Michigan Independent Weekly. I am joined by none other than Jaimy Coxxx. We're going to talk to him in a few minutes. Before I do that, please, first, smash the thumbs up. Always smash the thumbs up. If you haven't already, please subscribe. You see that little squiggly animation thing down there? Right down there is the subscribe button. If it's red, you haven't subscribed yet. Click it, make it gray. Now you're subscribed. Right next to that is a bell. Click that. That'll allow you to be notified when all the awesome content comes to the Rasslin Rage YouTube channel. Awesome stuff. And don't forget, down in the description is a link to Podbean where you'll be able to listen to this interview in audio format. Mr. Jaimy Coxxx, what is going on, sir? How are you doing tonight?
I'm good. How about yourself?
Oh, I'm hanging in there, working and doing my thing. Like, we got to live life, I guess.
Yeah, especially right now.
Right. So we talked the past at the last two house party shows for XICW. And one of the things that we talked about was 22 years.
Yeah.
22 years you've been in the wrestling business.
Yeah.
Now, I'm fairly new. I've been around for a couple of years now, so I don't know the whole story. I don't know your whole story. Maybe everybody else does, but I don't, and that's why I have you here today. So I want to know what interested you to the point of where you sought to become a professional wrestler.
Oh, man. So it's crazy because so many people I feel like have a similar story of how they became interested in pro wrestling.
Right.
Mine was as a kid. I remember seeing the Hulkster, and seeing Andre. So here's how it went. My dad, right? He didn't believe in pro wrestling really at the time. I remember him kind of shitting on it and stuff. But as a kid, I just loved it, and I wanted my dad to love it too. So that way we have something to enjoy together. Well, he didn't really get into it, but then WrestleMania 3 happened and Andre Hogan happened, and he actually heard about the Slam at work, if you can believe that. That's how big that shit was. These guys were talking at his work. So he came home and he's asking me questions about it. I thought it was so cool. My dad was hitting me up about wrestling and asking me questions. And we ended up watching the Friday night. It was like the main event or the big event or whatever that was, the rematch of Hogan Andre.
Yeah, that was the main event.
Okay, the main event, right? So my dad, that was like the only, I can't remember him watching any other wrestling before or after this. And he was amazed. And I remember thinking then, I want my dad to look at me like that. So that's kind of how it started, was like he looked at Hulk Hogan that way and said, wow, look at that guy. And I'm thinking, man, I could make my dad proud becoming a pro wrestler. So then it just kind of got me watching it. And then he was gone. He never watched wrestling again. And I kept going. I was stuck on Hogan and Warrior and the Bushwhackers, you name it. I loved all them guys. And even then I got PWI. I started reading The Wrestler, and I was getting like the arena reports.
Oh,
so I would see that Michigan had wrestling other than Hulkster and all, and other than the WWF. And I started learning about. I didn't know what an independent scene was. I didn't know any of that. I just knew there was local wrestling. So at about, I don't know, maybe 14, 15, I went to a Yarder show, believe it or not. And it was just because that was who I knew. I knew no one in the business, man. I knew nobody. I didn't know anything about anything. I just knew that I loved wrestling. And I got into skateboarding and BMXing. And I remember kind of leaving wrestling for a little while during the downtime, 93, or more 94, 95, the down times. And then I came back in 96 when Hogan went heel.
Oh,
enjoying the end of right, like a lot of people.
Right.
So that was when I said, you know what, I'm a teenager now. I can really focus on this goal. And I wrestled in high school, and like I said, I ended up at these yarder shows and hanging out a little bit. I got to know these guys, this and that, and next thing I know, I'm putting together a little gimmick and I'm working on these yarder shows. But the whole thing was, we didn't know what backyard wrestling was back then. That backyard wrestling wasn't a thing like it is now. It wasn't as taboo and it wasn't as negative as it is today. Back then, we were just guys that had a school to do a show in and had a ring, and we were able to do shows, but we weren't trained, right?
Okay.
But I'm telling you, the guys from all over, local pros, were coming to these shows to get on because the crowds, we had 500 people. It was at a high school out in South Lyon.
Oh, wow.
We had so many people coming to these shows that it was like, I mean, it was like a regular real life indie show, but we just didn't know what we were doing.
Right.
So these pros were filtering in and out. And then one day, Hard Time Gene Austin. I don't know if you know who that is. He's an old NWA. Okay. So he was a Stone Cold ripoff, right?
Okay.
But he was the man in this area. He was the man at that time. He ran the NWA Michigan, and they ran the training school in our area. There was Can-Am a little bit, the Can-Am in its infancy over in Canada back then. But when I started, the only real one was the Destroyer School of Wrestling. So Gene Austin comes to our show and says, hey, we've got this school. We'll train all you guys. He's like, we'll take the whole lot of you and we'll turn all you into pros, and then you can go out and work anywhere, because we couldn't really work other places other than the 1 yarder show we were doing. You know, so then it was like he showed, and then he basically said, if you guys don't go get trained, I'm sending all these pros back here to kick your fucking asses. Really, and that's a shoot. That's a fucking shoot. Right. Because he did. He basically meant, look, we've put up with this long enough. You guys need to get trained if you're going to continue on in this profession. Right. So I went to the Canadian Destroyer School of Wrestling. It was down in Monroe when I first started. And then I came back up and moved to Wayne, where I finished. So I was there maybe 8-9 months getting trained with, I don't know if you know who Yukon Braxton is, RIP. Okay, so you know him. He was in my class. Brian Shotwell from Downriver. I don't know if you know who that is.
Yeah, I know Shotwell.
So he's still around too. He was in my class. And I'm trying to think of who else. The Greek Assassin, he's not around anymore, but he was the best. Hurricane Kid was my original tag partner, but there was like seriously 20 some guys that started my wrestling class. Right. And there was five of us that finished.
I hear that a lot, you know, with the House of Truth, because the House of Truth is, is the school in Michigan now.
Yes.
And you know, we did kind of talk about this a little bit briefly at the house party, but you know, they're always, I mean, every so often, how many ever weeks it is, it's a new class and there's new guys coming out. And ladies coming out. It's a good thing, of course, because
back when I was in school, it was like you didn't see guys, but every couple of years you saw a class of guys. Right. Back then, guys went to school for a year. You know, I didn't take to it like a fish to water. It took me a while to get it seriously did. I was very, I still am unorthodox. I would say I have a very unorthodox style, but I was very, I don't know, I was just clumsy, and I could play basketball. I could play baseball, football. I could skateboard. I thought wrestling would be no problem, but the athleticism in it is very difficult. You have to be able to jump really high. I mean, you do. Right. You have to be able to move. You have to be able to bump. You got to get up quick. You might not know that you don't have these skills until you start wrestling. Then you're like, holy crap, I can't hit the mat really fast and get up really quick. Like you don't realize you can't do that. Yeah. So it took me a lot longer than a lot of other guys to finish school. But I didn't care. I was all about soaking up the knowledge. Right. I didn't really give a shit about leaving school too early. You know, I was all about keep me here and I'll just learn until I'm ready. And back then your trainer released you. You weren't in a class. It wasn't like, okay, it's 6 weeks, all you idiots, okay, you're all free now. It wasn't like that. This was like you started your class, and then as you progressed, the trainer would say, hey, you're catching on very well. I think you're ready for a match. And then your trainer would get you booked on a show locally. He would take you there, talk to the promoter. It was very old school when I started.
Right.
And a lot of that's lost now. And I know, I mean, it's not lost. It's just a different time now.
Right.
I don't want to say it's lost because shit changes. I get it.
Yeah.
It's just a different time now. But I didn't leave school until I was ready, until my trainer gave me my certificate. And back then, I don't know if they still do that. We got an actual certificate.
Oh, nice.
Like I graduated, God damn it.
What was something that you found what was the hardest thing for you coming through training?
Oh man, for me, it was like because back then school, and again, I don't know how it is now, but it was very military back then. It was very organized. It was very boom, bam. You know, we do log rolls for like a fucking hour, and you're just going boom, bam, bam, boom, you know, bam, bam, bam. I remember the calisthenics 500 squats. Like, are you kidding me? I can't even, it's hard to count to 500, let alone do 500 fucking squats. Seriously, hold on. You people out there, try to do like 50 squats right now and watch how fucking hard that shit is.
It is.
And you got to do 500 of them. And then you got to wrestle and train the rest of the night with these jello legs going on, you know? So,
that's crazy.
I found the actual, like the rigorous constant beat down your body very difficult, but it did eventually abuse me enough to where I didn't feel it as much as, you know, as I do now.
Right. I get that.
Yeah,
now,
I know you do.
You talked a little bit about you had an original tag team partner there, and now we know that you've been a member of the Luvin Criminals, which, you know, huge tag team here in the state of Michigan, and it's been a faction. There's been more members, but now it's kind of dwindled. There's really only you and DBA now that I know of that are active, and you are the current XICW Tag Team Champions.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Well, how did you two get together? First of all, how did you meet DBA?
Okay, so this is a fantastic story, and I'm gonna cut it down pretty raw here. So back when I was in school, when the school moved to Wayne, because down in Monroe it was hard. It was guys had to drive really far to get to it because it was in like South Monroe, you know. So guys that were coming from the city and coming from Livonia, like that area, man, it was just taking forever. So when it moved to Wayne, we saw a lot more influx of vets, of pros that would come in and work out and hang out and bullshit and talk. And that's sometimes the best. You know, the best advice, the best learning you can get is just bullshitting with a vet sitting there. So one day I'm in the ring and we didn't really practice our moves, right? It was like training was for training. You learned holds, you did your moves. It wasn't for like, I want to learn how to do a shooting star. My trainer would be like, yeah, fuck you. You ain't learning nothing. You know, that's just how it was.
Right.
It wasn't like that. You learn what I tell you to learn and that's it. Goddamn it. That was how it was. Right. So I wasn't even able to learn. So you had to wait till like way after practice where everybody left to like do a spinning heel kick or work on a, you know, something that's not a simple crossbody type trainer move, you know? So I figured out I wanted to get on the top rope and do a frog splash. Well, I got up there and I learned before I could even do the frog splash, I got to learn to stand on the top rope because that in itself is very difficult, especially when you have when you're terrified of heights like I am.
Really?
So I'm standing on the top rope and it's not the ring that's scary, it's the floor. Because you're looking down the post all the way down to the pavement. And I would get up there and go, and I would fall off. Like, shoot, I couldn't stand up there. So DBA is at the school and I'd never really met him before. And I hear him yelling at me, man, you can't stand on that top rope, man, damn. And I'm like, oh God, this, you know, and I just know of DBA, you know, and he was a scary character back then too, you know. So he was serious.
Back then? What do you mean?
I mean, not to me now.
Right.
But back then he was terrifying, you know.
Right.
So I'm thinking, and he comes stalking, he's like storming towards the ring, and I'm like, oh, I'm getting beat up. Here we go. And I thought he was mad that we were working on something after. I didn't know what I was in trouble for.
Right.
So he comes in, and he gets up to the apron, and he stands up there, and he's got this real tough look on his face, and he's like, "Here, man, let me hold your hand." And I was like, "What? Is this a rib? You know, like, is he gonna throw me off?" And no, shoot, legit, he held my hand while I stood up there, and he walked like riding a bike. He would walk away slowly, and then I'd like fall, and he'd grab my hand again, and then I'd steady. And he taught me to stand on the top rope the very first time I met him. So I don't know. I fell in love with him right away because he didn't have to be nice to me at all.
Right.
He could have got in there and kicked my ass. That was very popular back then, beating up young guys.
Right.
Seriously, it was. So he could have got in there and beat the crap out of me, but instead he got in there and helped me a ton. And, you know, we were friends ever since. So check this out. After school, I get released. I'm doing a few shots around town, you know, just trying to get my name out there. And first I was a character called Tiger Style, and I had a Blue Panther mask, and I was a dancer, kind of like a goofball type guy. And my original tag partner, Hurricane Kid, he and I were the menace to society. That's how we broke in, like got my first ever gig. But then he wanted to quit. He was on the fence about pursuing the career. So he ended up splitting. So then I didn't want to do the Tiger gimmick anymore. So I just became Jaimy Coxxx. I kind of created it. I didn't have a match to change into him or anything. I just created it. I still was working locally, starting to pick up some steam. Well, I got booked on JCW. I don't know if you remember the JCW tour. Okay, so the very first one they ever had, I got booked on that. We went out, tore it up all over the whole country, right? Me, Brian Gorey, there was a bunch, Chris Hero, Madman Pondo, Cash Flow, God damn it, Fat Fuck Barrel Boy. I mean, it was a great time. Isaiah was on the tour with us. We tore it up. We had a great Kickboxer, Tarek the Great. Best of the indies, and me, and I'm an idiot. I just got on because I knew Gory.
Right.
So we come back from the tour, and I'm thinking we're gonna explode, you know. And they put out a couple videos of us, and then it turns out they switched the matches on the video, and they put out like a really crappy match that we did instead of the really good one. So nobody picked up on us. Everyone thought we were shit because they saw like everybody saw this crappy match. I thought we were going to get off, you know, because we actually got a good match out of the Clowns. We had a really good match in Cleveland, and they bumped it and went with something else, and we weren't jiving with them that time and I hated the match. So anyway, I come back and TBA comes to me and he's like, "Hey man," and I'm thinking, all right, this JCW thing's gonna pay off. Your DBA is gonna ask me to, you know, do something, you know. So he does. He asked me, he wants to get XICW started. And he's like, "I want to use guys that no one's using." And I'm like, "Wait a minute, what?" And he's like, "Yeah, no one's using you, right?" And I'm like, "Well, no, but you don't have to say that, you know." I was like, "You don't have to say that out loud, you know?" And he's like, "No, I'm just saying, man, no one's using." And I thought he like saw the JCW thing and was coming to the plate, but no, he didn't see shit.
Well, but he used you, right?
Yeah, yes, and that's what I'm saying. So it ended up being that's where our friendship really took off, because I've been on XICW since the very first show they ever had.
How long ago was? I know it was 19, 20 years ago now, but do you remember what your first show was?
Oh yeah. Oh fuck yeah. I remember like it was yesterday. I wrestled Mr. Meaner, and he was the guy who was on the JCW tour with me. We did a gay gimmick for the Clowns. We were Big Flame, Neil and Bob, and he was Big Flame. He was like the lead gay dude. But
Big Flame.
His indie gimmick was Mr. Meaner, and he was like he was Mr. 420. He was a 420-pound cop. He was a policeman gimmick. But we were doing you remember when Bubba Ray Dudley started doing the power bomb off the top rope?
Yes.
So me and Mr. Meaner, we started doing that, him and I, and people booked us just to see this move. Not even to see it, but just to have it on their show. Right. Because it kills me. I mean, it's death, no way around it. We weren't using tables, so it was straight off. He would stand up, you know, he would be on the top. I'd go to Rana from the top. He'd stop and just step out and sitting powerbomb me. And we had to do it, man. Oh God, it was good because we were getting booked, but we had to do it a lot, and I remember hating that. But then we did it on the very first XI in Hot Rocks with that low ass ceiling.
Oh,
Yeah, blue tarp water, you name it. We got right up there.
that's great. Blue tarp water and everything. Speaking of Hot Rocks, what's going on there?
Oh man, honestly, I just drove by there and they've got a whole outside patio set up now because you can't have shit inside now. It's COVID.
Right, I know, but I was seeing that it was for sale, and I was like, well,
Yeah, I don't think they're selling it, or I don't know if it's sold or any of that shit.
Well, I hope
it's open.
I hope not. I mean, we got to have Proving Ground. I mean, I know we can find somewhere else, but
Go
ahead.
No, after you.
I was gonna say that's a pretty crucial thing for XICW and all of independent wrestling here in the state of Michigan. And that was something I wanted to talk to you about, is how crucial is Proving Ground, and specifically more so the Wrestling with a Vet, because you've participated in Wrestling with a Vet. And there's been many guys, we're on season 7 right now. We should be on season 8, but because of this fucking pandemic, not happening yet.
Hey, babe, sorry, hold on. My dog's so crazy. Come here, boy. Come here. It's okay. It's okay. He's all right. Go ahead. Sorry. Hey,
so
go see mom.
What exactly? I've asked a few people that have participated or have won, because I've had a couple of the guys that won. One of them would be in Cyrus Satine, now going by Mark Ross. Billy Ray Daniels has been on the show. El Ridiculoso has been on the show. Many guys have been on the show, but how important do you think Proving Ground, and specifically Wrestling with a Vet, is to some of these rookies and some of these guys coming into the business here, and specifically in Michigan?
I mean, honestly, I think Proving Ground is a concept that's way ahead of its time. I mean, stuff like this has been happening in the business for years. Not Tough Enough, like that type of, those type of things. It's a different variation, but this one, the way it is, where these guys are just starting out and getting to work with the likes of veterans, like myself and like DBA, and now you're going to have the veterans are going to be El Ridiculoso, and they're going to be MM3s and those kind of guys, which is crazy because that's how long we've been doing Proving Ground. Is that they're already vets now, which is not, they're already vets of it, which is crazy. But I'm going to tell you this, Proving Ground, 22 years we've talked about, right?
Yeah.
That, and I'm not shitting you, the first 3 seasons of Proving Ground were the hardest. I don't even know how to put it into words. It was the most brutal any run I've ever had. I was Midwest champion for 2 years straight in 2009 to 2011, right?
Okay.
And this run, doing those 3 seasons back to back to back, was the most brutal run I've ever had in professional wrestling.
Well, I mean, it's every month pretty much.
It is. And it's 9 months if you go to the finals every time. We went to we got kicked out late in the first round. Me and El were tagging with Dominique as our manager. We got kicked out because he went to Cali and missed a shot. So we got bumped right out. But we were like on our way. But then the second season was like 9 months. We went to the finals and lost. The next month we started right away on season 3. And then it was like 9 more months. And they are the most brutal matches you will have. And I don't care if it's not blood and guts. They're the most hard-hitting. They're the most intense. Like I won't even do it anymore. You've not seen me do Proving Ground since I won in season 3. Because I won't fucking do it.
Is this just too brutal?
It's just too brutal, dude. I'm not kidding you.
Yeah.
You go for fucking broke.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine that. I mean, every night you go for broke, but imagine pushing that now.
Right.
You're already going for broke. You're already killing yourself. You're already flipping off the top rope. You're already jumping and doing all this shit. Now you have to elevate that. Now you have to elevate what you just did. And it's 9 months of elevation.
Right.
I mean, in season 2, it was the end of season 2 when DBA and I wrestled that singles match. I mean, I didn't walk right for a week. That's
Right.
no joke. And we
Wow.
did tables, chairs. We were smashing through everything. And it was like 16-minute match or something.
Right.
You know, and we know each other so well too, he and I, that we could just tear the fucking house down, you know?
Right.
But it tears our bodies down at the same time, you know?
Yeah.
But I do think Proving Ground is an invaluable resource for these young guys.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm seeing guys like right now, if you want to go, we'll talk current season 7. We have 3 teams left and we don't have a definitive winner yet because we haven't been able to complete, but we got 3 teams left and we got one a person who won an Impact contract while competing in Proving Ground.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, so we got the Suplex Shogun Jackson Stone with his rookie, Sean Tyler. Then we have Dre Jacobs, the War Boy, with TJ Meyer, who, my God, I've seen from the first episode to now, and then to see what he was doing out in Kalkaska on some film. Talk about leaps and bounds. Leaps and bounds for that kid. That kid is amazing, and I love everything he's doing. And then you also have somebody that you have some history with, one weaponized moonsault master, whatever they're calling him nowadays, Alex Weir and Adam Wick. So did I hit a sore spot there with talking about Mr. Alex Weir? You got to add this reaction.
I knew we'd be talking about them too. They're nice kids. Let me just say that.
They're nice kids.
Get
out of my yard.
They're very nice kids. I'm not gonna bury them on here. They know. They know how I feel about them. Them guys know. Look. Can I just say? Never. I'm not.
All right. Now, as far as the title goes, the XICW lightweight title is held currently by Alex Weir. Now, do we see you ever wanting to get a shot at that title again?
I don't really care about the title, to be honest with you.
You just want to kick his ass? Is that it?
Yeah, I really just want to kick Alex Weir's ass. It's been an itch I've had for a while now, and I just noticed that it just never seems to happen. Right. You know, and I'm not talking to management at all.
Right.
1%, because management, I'm sure, would put this thing together if the other party would show up. Just a thought, Mr. Weir.
Right. Well, I do know that he is starting to take bookings come September. So he is making his way back into the wrestling business. So
yeah, I got a booking for him.
That's great. I love it. Now, we went into the world, I guess. We went into a pandemic and it kind of changed the game. It really did, because people had to reinvent themselves. We got guys out here now. They're running Twitch channels, doing gaming channels. They got guys out here creating content, wrestling wise and stuff like that. And now we're out there, and there's some outdoor events going on. And one of which was, we talked about the house party one. And at house party one, you talked about, this is it. This is XICW. All the people that were there for that show for XICW, this is XICW. You care to tell me a little bit of, kind of talk about that a little bit?
It was just, man, that was so emotional to see with what's going on right now, and where the world is and where everyone's heads and hearts are, for all them people to give up their own lives and give up their own families or leave whatever they had to come to that house party. And with a special invitation, people were saying that they wouldn't have missed it for the world, you know?
Absolutely not.
And you hear stuff like that, and man, it's just it makes me very emotional, because that's why. And honestly, we don't get paid much, man.
Right.
I know that's no secret as far as indie goes. We don't get paid a lot of money. That's not why we do it. I do it personally. I'm not speaking for anybody else, but for me, I do it for shit like that. I do it to hear guys say, oh man, I wouldn't have missed this for the world. You guys are the goddamn best. And we would be here. I was in Lansing wrestling last weekend, and the guy was like, oh man, we were at both house parties. We're going to be at the next one. I can't. And he's like, I was checking my email, waiting for that invite, just waiting for that invite.
Yeah.
That makes me feel so good that this guy's eagerly waiting to come see us do what we love. It's just it's a blessing.
Yeah, absolutely. XICW is by far, in my opinion, the best promotion in the state of Michigan. And
I agree. Thank you for that.
I've been on record and said that 19 years says something about any business.
You're right. Yeah,
it doesn't matter if it's wrestling or not. That says anything,
anything.
And
Right.
I told you the story, and I've told this story a couple times about how I was introduced to XICW. I had seen DBA and MM3 wrestle in Port Huron. I had no idea outside of anything else what had existed. I had no idea. I had interviewed MM3, and then I started, and I found out that there was more organizations. Hence why I started this whole thing, is because if I didn't know, there's got to be other people that don't know. So let's let everybody know, and let's go watch some wrestling, right? That's the way I see it. Watch some wrestling, right? Yeah. But, I didn't come to XI until it was season 6, I believe. No, season 5. Season 5, Billy Ray Daniels with Levi Blue, and they won. And the whole season. Right. And I'm friends with Billy Ray.
I cried when they won. That was so awesome. Yeah. I've known Levi Blue my entire career, and I've known Billy his. So to see them guys win, that was incredible. Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's fine. He when he lifted his son up in the ring, that's what got me.
Man, it was just so special.
Right. And because when he started training, he was a little bit older, and he was told he wouldn't do anything because he was too old and things like that and what have you. Yeah. So for that to happen, great, awesome. But that was my very first XICW, and I've only missed one show, one proving ground since. And I was in Amsterdam, so it's okay.
Yeah, that's okay.
Okay. But I've only missed one proving ground since. Now, it's been soon as DBA messages me, I told him, you don't even have to tell me there's a show, just tell me to send you $20. Because I'm gonna do it,
and that's what I'm saying, man. Like, to hear that kind of stuff is just so refreshing, because like I said, that's why I'm doing it. I'm not doing it anymore for big bucks. I'm not chasing the WWE anymore. I'm not doing that. I do this shit for you guys. Like, that's straight awesome. Up. I do it for just to go out there until my last breath and tear it up for you guys, man. Because that's all I've ever known. Right. I've been a pro wrestler my entire adult life. Like, my entire adult life. I don't have any other identity except pro wrestling, That's it.
Right.
That's it. So, and you guys give me the platform to do what I do. So to thank you for that, I go out there and kick some ass every time.
That's awesome. What is, in your mind, through the 22 years that you've been in the business, do you have a top moment for you in your career that you hold up on the top that says, man, I'm really glad I got to do this?
Oh, man. Okay, so when I started this whole thing, I never set like I got to be in the Fed, or I got to be here, I got to make a ton of money. I just wanted to be a wrestler. When I started getting booked in curtain jerking matches, I was like, oh my God, I can't believe it. I can't believe it. Oh my God. Somebody thinks that. And back then, the curtain jerker, the first spot now is coveted. Now guys want to be opener because you're setting the whole fucking pace for the show.
Right.
You can make it as hot as you want,
Yeah.
That's a coveted spot. Now, back when I started, you were first, you were low man, you were brand new, you were getting your ass kicked, squashed. But just to even do that was so incredible.
Right.
So for me, I never saw that whole WWE. I never sent a tape to anyone in my life. You know that?
Wow. No, I didn't know that.
Life. I never sent a tape. I never did any. I'm not on Facebook. I'm not on Twitter. All I ever wanted to do was get booked somewhere and be a goddamn wrestler. That was it. So for me, honestly, like we were just talking about Proving Ground.
Right.
Proving Ground season 3, winning. It's tough because losing season 2 is almost just as good a moment as winning season 3. I know that's fucked up.
No, because the experience was invaluable.
The experience of losing and having to go back there and congratulate all them guys and eat it, for the whole next season, and to eat that loss until we came back and won, and we beat Johnny Devine.
Yeah.
So to me, that was probably my most and I mean, I wrestled Tracy Smothers. That was a huge crowning achievement for me, man. He was one of my heroes growing up. Even getting there with Marty Jannetty when I was Midwest Heavyweight Champion.
Yeah.
I remember even being a Proving Ground champion and wrestling Suplex Shogun. Those 2 matches we had were fucking awesome, man. And wrestling Johnny Bravo, he stole the belt and took off around town and was Facebooking pictures. And I kicked his ass as soon as he came back in the building.
That's awesome.
Like, it was awesome.
Yeah.
And that's the shit that I remember. So it's honestly so hard to pick one thing. I'm so fortunate. I've done shit just in XICW alone that guys only dream about. I got to win the Malcolm Memorial Cup. Like, that's not, you just don't get that shit every day.
No, absolutely not.
So it's really hard to pick one moment. But I just gave you so many.
Yeah,
so
right. We'll just say it's all of them, right?
All of them. It's really hard to pick one.
Well, Dre Jacobs is in the chat, and he says, Jaimy, what rookies / young guys would you like to face that you haven't yet?
Oh, wow. That's a good one. I remember that Nolan kid. Where's he at? Where's
Nolan Edwards?
Yeah.
He's around. He's making his way.
So I actually was booked to wrestle him, and then he went to Impact or something. I don't know. And then he was gone. I haven't seen him since.
Yeah, he's around.
I know he's doing something on the Photog side or something up at Impact. But anyway, he was somebody I totally wanted to get in there because I liked his look. I thought spots are hard for old guys like me, but I'll still get in there and do them. I'm more of a guy. I work on the fly most of the time,
right?
And then there's another. I just worked with a young kid that was great at the first house party. Mitch Hewitt. Mitch Hewitt. He was great. He was absolutely, and he's somebody I wanted to work with. He was a rookie that I was looking forward to working with. He's very polite. He's very nice in the back. He always takes advice. He always asks me to watch his matches and stuff.
Yeah.
He's a very nice kid. And we tore it up at the house party. We had a blast, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
We had an absolute blast. But then there was another kid. Oh, God, I can't, not Sam Beal, the other, I can't remember his name.
Jason Page.
Say it one more time.
Jason Page, the future, Jason Page.
Yeah, maybe that's him. But Sam Beal too. Fuck it. Sam Beal, all them guys. I want to work with Verdi. I'd love to work with him. I think we would tear it up.
Absolutely.
He's the man of Beastmaster. I don't know what his gimmick name is.
Dread King Logan.
Yeah, King Logan. I'd love to work with him. I know we would tear it up. I love his gimmick. He's got that whole, He-Man thing down. Yeah. I love it.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
He's not a rookie, but I just would love
to work with him.
Yeah.
Him and I, we're good buddies, and I enjoy watching him. And I really enjoy his style of promos too, because he does a good job with promos. I know that him and Dre Jacobs are going to go at it this weekend at the RPW Horror Slam show.
Yeah. So I hate Dre Jacobs like in character, but out of character, he's great. He's a great dad and a great man, and I love him in the locker room. But getting in the ring with him fucking sucks. Man.
He's a beast, ain't he?
He's a beast, and he goes off. He just goes off. You can't control him, and that's a shoot. I'm not kidding you. Right. You just get kicked right in the face and just hold on for your life, man.
That's amazing stuff.
But he's awesome. I love Dre. He's honestly one of my better friends outside the ring.
Right. Okay. So last question before we get out of here tonight.
Yeah. What do we got?
One question. We got 3 teams left. Who you picking to win?
Oh, man. You're putting me on the spot.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I don't know. Wait, hold on. Since I'm a judge, I don't really know if I should.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you know what? You make a good point.
Let me say this. Let me speak hypothetically. All right.
Okay.
If I were a fan of the show, right? I am an impartial judge, goddammit, and I want that let that be known right now. Okay. And you can ask any of these guys that grab the paperwork after the judging. I'm a harsh judge because I was in there. I know what it takes to win, and I know what the scores are, so I judge completely fair. But if I were a fan and sitting out at ringside, I would. I mean, I love Shogun and Tyler. Honestly, to me, it's like Ebony and Ivory. You know. But I'm just saying, as a fan, I think their styles. I like the big guy, and then the not, not the smaller guy, but like just one hoss, one workhorse, one hoss. Sean Dawes in there bashing him up, and Shogun can just toss him. So
he does toss people a lot.
He does a lot. Trust me, I've been in there with him. I know what that feels like.
I don't know anybody that's made their own rules for a match to defend their title and made it harder on himself to win that title with his the Proving Ground title and the whole he has to suplex him 5 times before he could even go for a pin. Like, who does that?
Yeah. What's crazy is I think when he took it from me, he's had it ever since. Is that right?
I think so.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, he's had it for a long time now. And
I beat him once. I did beat him one time.
One time.
Once, goddamn it. Hey, no one else has been able to do that in the last how many days?
Right, exactly. Well, I want to tell you, thank you so much for joining me, man. It's been an absolute pleasure, and I look forward to seeing you here in August for House Party 3.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Going down at a secret location. And if you want information on that, you need to contact the people that it says to contact, because I'm not telling you, because I'm not getting stabbed by DBA. It's not happening.
No, me neither. I'm not first time for me.
No,
I want to thank you for having me, man. I had a blast. Thank you for spreading the word about XI and getting everybody to the show.
Yeah, it makes it easy, right?
It does.
When it's a good product and people enjoy it, it's really easy to do that, because
it is.
It really is.
That's good.
Yeah, I absolutely love XI, and anytime I'm there, for
sure. Good,
absolutely.
Man. We'll see you at House Party 3 then, huh?
Oh yeah. I bought my ticket 2 days later. I would have bought it right then, but I had to wait for my paycheck.
Yeah, but now you got it. Now we got it.
And I'm bringing my wife again. So.
Oh, good.
And I think the boys from MIW will be there too. So, and then it'll be.
Be sure to stop me. Be sure to say hello. Okay.
Absolutely. Listen, guys, make sure you scroll down in the description. You will find links to XICW and all their social media and their webpage and all that stuff. Like he said, he doesn't have Facebook. So, and if he did, he wouldn't be on it anyways. So,
nope, he's got it.
Right. So, guys, make sure that if you see him, you say hi, give him a fist bump, get an autograph, all that good stuff. He will do all that good stuff for you.
Absolutely. Anytime.
Make sure you smash the thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe. We'll see you guys Sunday at 8 p.m. for Rasslin Rage. We'll be joined by War Inc. It's going to be a good time. All right, guys. Everybody have a good one. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a good one. I got to hit this thing as soon as I find it. There we go. Later.
Rasslin Rage. Do it now. This is Rasslin Rage. Scream it out loud. This is Rasslin Rage. Cody Fleming is the man who leads the brigade. It's going down. This is Rasslin Rage. Do it now. This is Rasslin Rage.